Hi, my name is Professor Margaret Hankinson, and I'm going to be your instructor this semester for the Politics of Crime and Punishment. And I want to welcome you to the fall semester 2021. I'm very excited to get started, and I'm excited to meet you all. And the point of this video is to just give you a quick overview about what you're going to be learning about this semester. The class itself is sort of broken into two sections. The first section of this course sort of looks at the key concepts that you need to get a good understanding of the criminal justice system in the United States. And so for the first half of the semester, we're going to be looking at an overview of what's contained in the criminal justice system, from police, prosecutors, the courts, punishments, and corrections. But then we're going to look at issues that sort of expand upon just those that, the institutions and agencies that are involved in criminal justice. We're going to be looking at the amount of crime that we have in the United States and how that's changed over time and how we measure crime. We're going to be taking a look at different perspectives, or sort of almost like worldviews, that help us answer the question of what role we think the criminal justice system should play in our democracy. We're going to be learning about the crime control perspective. That's basically saying that, we have to be really tough on crime in order to keep law and order secure within the United States. But we're going to be looking at other perspectives that take sort of a different approach to understanding the proper role of the criminal justice system within the U.S. democracy. You're going to be learning about criminal law and the components of criminal law, and you're going to be learning about theories of why people commit crimes. So the first part of the semester is sort of the foundational understanding of what everybody should sort of know as they are learning about the criminal justice system. The second part of the semester is actually digging in and looking more deeply at the actual institutions and the people that work in the institutions of the criminal justice system. So we're going to dig in deeply and take a look at policing in the United States. And as you know, there's been a lot of recent issues about police and the use of force, and potential policy changes to police. So we're going to be exploring that. We're going to look at the individuals who are personnel within the courtroom. As you're going to find during the course of the semester, that very few criminal cases actually go to trial. But that doesn't mean that the courts aren't incredibly important, because a lot of activity takes place in the court prior to a trial, and even when a trial never takes place, like through a plea agreement. And so we're going to be taking a look at the people who work in the courts. In particular, you're going to be learning about the prosecutor, you're going to be learning about the defense attorneys, and you're going to be learning about the judges, the so-called courtroom work group. We're also going to be learning about punishment and sentencing, why we sentence people to certain sorts of sentences, what factors are taken into consideration. And then finally, we'll take a look at the correctional system. So on the one hand, we sort of look at core theoretical concepts at the beginning of the class, and towards the second part of the class, you're going to be learning about in more depth the actual institutions, the people that work within the criminal justice system. Throughout the class, this is a class, a political science class. And so we place special focus on public policy as it relates to criminal justice. That, when it comes to, what is considered illegal in the United States, that determination is made by our legislatures, right? Whether that's the federal legislature, the Congress, that tells us what are federally prohibited behaviors. The vast majority of those designations of what is prohibited or criminal acts are determined by our state legislatures. And so even what we consider to be acceptable or criminal behavior is about politics. Who we elect to serve in our state legislatures and our federal legislatures, they're the ones who determine whether or not an activity is going to be considered a crime. And beyond that, we look at so not only do lawmakers determine what is considered criminal action, but lawmakers also determine the policies that are related to the criminal justice system. Whether that's policies regarding the behaviors and actions of law enforcement, decisions regarding how much money or how little money law enforcement should receive, rules regarding the use of force. Lawmakers, both at the state level, federal level, and at the local level as well, make decisions about that. And also policies having to do with sentencing and policies having to do with correctional institutions, right? Who, what's considered a felony with a much more serious sentence versus something that's considered a misdemeanor with a lesser sentence associated with that. A lot of that is a product of policy and politics. And so throughout the course of the semester, we're going to be, have a close eye on the policies that are associated with the criminal justice system. You're going to be writing a couple of really cool papers that we're reading a great book called Locked In, The True Causes of Mass Incarceration. And so as you know, or will learn throughout the course of the semester, we incarcerate a vast number of people in the United States, more than any other country on the face of the earth. And that's a product of public policy. And so we'll be reading a book that gives suggestions for if we want to reduce the amount of mass incarceration we have in the United States, how do we need to change our policies? And even though the common sort of wisdom is that the reason we have so many people incarcerated is because of the war on drugs, it's actually not the case. The reason we have so many people incarcerated in the United States is because we have a high level of violent crime in the United States compared to other countries. And so if we're going to reduce mass incarceration, we really need to think about how we treat violent criminals in the United States. And that's a pretty difficult conversation to have. We'll have that conversation in reading Locked In. You'll also get to partake to go to the courts and watch the courts in action and then write a courtroom report on it. So there are some, even though this is an asynchronous online class, there are still some opportunities to get out in the real world, so to speak, and experience a courtroom firsthand. So students take this class for a variety of reasons. Some students take this class because they're interested in going into law school, and so it's because you learn about the different types of law, including criminal law. It's kind of a good first step towards that path of going to law school. Other people take this class because they want to become law enforcement or play another role in or have another job within one of the agencies within the criminal justice system, either law enforcement or corrections. Some students take this class because they've had, or they have themselves or know somebody who's had an interaction with the criminal justice system. They might have felt like it was unjust, and they want to learn more about, maybe what are some of the protections that citizens have in relationship to agents within the criminal justice system. So there's a lot of reasons that people take this class. I'm super psyched to get started this semester. This is one of my favorite classes to teach, and I've been teaching it for a while. And I know that this is an asynchronous class, so it can kind of feel lonely at times, but I have worked in a lot of activities, the discussions that you have with your classmates. We have face-to-face, real-time Zoom office meetings and study sessions. And also like this, I make lectures every week that are, you can see my face, and you're going to, have the PowerPoint slides. And so hopefully this class will be as engaging as a face-to-face class, if not more. I'm dedicated to your success. I love to teach, so don't hesitate to reach out. If you need help or if you have questions, you can contact me via email, phone, text, or come to office hours, and all of that information is on our campus site. So anyways, look forward to meeting you all, and thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.